that somehow you can go to Linda Street or any other CDFI and say, I want to start a business. Help me to start a business. I don't know how it really works, but somebody told me that if you're in this business, you can make a lot of money. And I heard somewhere that you had the money to help me get, no, it doesn't work that way. If you want to be in business, you've got to know why you want to be in business. You've got to understand what that business is all about that you want to be in, because you have read something, you have followed some information about it, you have talked with some people who are ready to help you. And so Linda Street is there once you come and you're ready to do business. You're really ready. And I want you to know there are people in business who will talk with you and help you to get your ideas together, your proposals together, before you ever try to get the money. You see Mr. Ramsey right here. Kevin, stand up. Kevin, stand up. This is Kevin Ramsey. You know what? He's a contractor, and a good one. He makes money, and I want you to know he helps others. If he will talk with you, that's his sister right there. She wanted the whole business, doing nothing but talking with people about how to get started, what the business is all about, and how they can get to him. Thank you. I know you didn't expect me to do that, but I did it anyway. And I want you to know, sitting behind him is a man named Ellis Guerrero, and he's with a Community Development Foundation, and that is Macedonia Baptist Church Community Development Foundation. It's not a foundation, but let me just tell you this. Ellis Guerrero used to work with all the big banks, and they used to get money to him to lend out because they didn't want you in the bank. They didn't want to be bothered with you. You're too small. And so they would give money to him, but they would not pay him. They would say, you have to mark it up so that you can earn some money by doing this work. And so he did that until he couldn't stand it anymore. He didn't like what they were doing. And so now he's in Watts. And he's in Watts with Macedonia. And he's doing the kind of lending that perhaps should be done before you get to ministry. Because he's dealing with very small community businesses. Where's Ron? Did Ron come up with you today? Where's Ron? Ron, where are you? Stand up, come up here somewhere. Because I want to give an example of what I'm talking about for very small businesses that get help from places like Macedonia and others who have small amounts of money. His money came from a program in Washington, D.C., where we do a community program above and beyond all of the money that's in the big budgets. We get them into community. Community representatives have about 15 of these small earmarks. That's small money. Earmarks. And so he had $1 million. That's all he had, was $1 million, teeny money. And so Ron, where's Ron? Ron may be in the audience, and I just want you to know about him because you need to know, some of you are way beyond this, but Ron was sitting outside of a fast food restaurant in Inglewood, and he was sitting in front of a storefront that didn't have anything up to the window, etc., etc. And so I decided I wanted to talk to him because I'm street people. I talk to street people all the time. And so I went over to him, learned a lot about him, and this is what I learned, and this is, to me, very interesting. He had this place that he had rented, but he didn't have any inventory. He didn't have any inventory because he didn't have any money. But he knew a lot about some of the creative people in the community who were creating product in their garages. T-shirts, sweaters, all kinds of stuff. One woman with leather, etc., etc. And this is not the system works. But if he had the money for the inventory, he would buy from others in the community who are not in these systems either. But they're making a living the best way that they can. And so I said, I want you to talk to somebody. I took him to Ellis. And I said, Ellis, I I like this young man because he seems to know what he's doing, but he needs some money. What we found out, Everett, was this. This was a young man who had a job, a young man who had a credit account with Navy Credit Union, the ones that discriminate. And so he had an account there. When he tried to get some money there, they turned him down. He had bought a car. He had paid the car almost off. One more payment left, and they repossessed the car. Now, why do I tell you about this? I tell you about this because the systems in finance do not work for you, and that's why we need people like Ministry. We need people who understand that when Wells Fargo gives you a donation for your church, that is not an investment in your being able to have money to start a business, to keep a business, to expand the business, to get the technology. And so we have people who come to us every day who said, you know, I got some money for my church banquet. I got some money for the Boy Scouts. That is not business. That is keeping you quiet so that you will not complain about them giving you money and making loans for your businesses. Don't get carried away with these little donations to nonprofits because that keeps you from understanding what you need to do to get in the process and understand. I want you to take a look at what happened during COVID. During COVID, we created something called PPP. And this was money for small businesses to be able to keep their employees, to do overhead. You gave out grants that you didn't even ask to pay you back. I know because I'm sitting with one you gave $15,000 to. And so, here's what I want you to know about PPP. The reason we were able to get PPP is because I was chairing the Financial Services Committee of the Congress of the United States of America. The first in its history. The first in its history. And I teamed up with Lydia Velasquez, a woman of color, a Mexican woman, who was serving on my committee, but also was chairing the Small Business Committee. We got together, and we even had a Republican over at Treasury at the time, but we put together a program for $60 billion, I think it was, dollars, to say, look, we have this PPP program, and it was intended to basically provide money for small businesses, but the big boys came in, and they took the money, and they took care of their concierge clients. They created their own panels, et cetera, et cetera. So we went back and we said we want $60 billion. We fought for it and we got it. But guess what? What bothered me so much about it all, many of our businesses didn't even know that PPP existed. Many of our businesses who don't even have computers don't know how to get on the internet and respond to what it is we create for you. And so, when I talk to industry and the other CDFIs in the area, you're not the only one. I'm going to propose that not only are you there to do what you do, and that is provide loans, and you're trying to help people every day, but what we need is what I've discovered really under Guerrero, and I worked with him before he came to Macedonia, is this. Just like I talk about Ron, the young man who was sitting out in front of the storefront. Ron was a victim of what most small businesses that don't have a lot of money was victim of. Insurance, lack of insurance, bad credit now, because he was not able to pay off all of his debts, and not understanding what he needs to do to be cleaned up, to be worked with, so that you can lend him some money. You can't just give away money. You have to know how that money is going to be paid back, or we'll stop you from giving money. All right, so here's what I'm going to propose. Extra money, more money for CDFIs, simply to get people like Ron cleaned up, organized, so that they can apply for a loan that you will be able to get there. I'm going to put some extra money into CDFIs specifying that you have the resources to pay for people who do nothing but clean up. This is what Guerrero did. This is what he did. And guess what? He cleaned them up, didn't have a lot of money, got $5,000, and guess what? He's going to have a press conference to talk about what happened to him and how he now understands how it all works. And guess what? We're going to have a lot of people that many of you may have never heard of. We've got some fantastically creative folks who are creating all kinds of stuff in our communities that don't have a clue about how to get some resources to really do it and get it done in ways that they can make money. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all got to be about closing the wealth gap. Closing the wealth gap. Closing the wealth gap. And I want you to know, there's some people who don't want us to close the wealth gap. And let me tell you, in addition to talking a little bit about PPP and all of this, some years ago, Barney Frank and I created something called Diversity and Inclusion in Government. And diversity and inclusion in government meant that all of these agencies, whether it's Treasury, the SEC, the FDIC, the OCC, all of them had to have someone in their offices that was responsible for making sure the outreach was done, that the connections were made, that people began to understand exactly what they could do to get these contracts, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I want you to know, Trump just told everybody who has a responsibility for diversity and inclusion to be out of their offices by 5 o'clock this past Friday. He want them out. They don't believe in diversity and inclusion. And diversity and inclusion is oftentimes an open door to being able to create a business. And that's what you should do. You should work in a lot of these places where you learn how it goes on. What do they do? How do they do it? Where do they get the money from? You learn and you go out and you start your own business. And that's one of the reasons, if I can divert from this for a minute, that we are so on what happens with housing and your ability to be able to buy a house. Because in California, like no places in the world, it appreciates so fast. You buy a house for $500,000, it's going to be worth $3 or $4 million in just a few years, and you can take that money and you can start businesses with it. You can send your kids to college, on and on and on. But closing the wealth gap is about all of this. And so those of you who are here today for the first time, I want you to get on the internet and read, listen, learn, read the business sections of your newspapers, ask questions, find somebody who's doing the kind of business you think you want, talk with them, do all of this. Because the reason they're able to discriminate is because you don't know how to fight them. You don't know what to ask for. You don't know what they're supposed to be doing. And this will help you so much to be able to move forward. Now, you've got those of us in Washington, D.C. who fight every day. I created the program in the beginning in 2012, I think it was, with me and Barney Frank, to make sure that in all of these agencies, they had a section and people who did nothing but outreach to help people get connected with whatever. Diversity and inclusion was what it called. We didn't even call it that thing. I want you to know that between me and all the members of the Black Caucus, we're forever pushing. But guess what? We create things that people don't look like us take advantage of, and you don't even get it. We work on it every day, and I don't want to go through all of this, but I want to with you a couple of things about one program that I want you to know about, because you all know about ministry, but you don't know all about the CDFIs and how many there are. The CDFIs were created simply as an alternative to the banks that won't lend you money. We are in a banking desert in most Black communities. That's why there is a industry and other CDFIs that we created because the big boys and the biggest 5 banks in America do not wish to really honestly do business with you. I know they give out a little bit here and there, but that's not really about what you need in terms of being able to have a business. Let's see. There's another business. If you'll come over here and help me with this, I think we can get this done. The small business, the state small business credit initiative. Now nobody knows about this. The money goes into the governor. It goes into Sacramento. What the hell happens to it after that? Tell them.
I don't want to answer this. So what we do is we try to use that money to provide guarantees to loans. For example, we do have some programs that are amazing, but the majority of it doesn't go into the right hands. And so that's what Chairwoman Waters is talking about. We got to figure out how to get it into your hands. We got to figure out how to get it into your small business. And let me explain to you what it is, because the acronym will trip you up. State Small Business Credit Initiative, SSBCI. There's all types of S's, right? SBA and all these others. This one is a loan guarantee in the state of California. California has 6 of them. And these guarantees help you if you don't have the collateral. So if a lender says, hey, you need to pledge your house, you might have to pledge your house. But you should also say, before you apply, do you participate in SSBCI? Do you participate in the state of California's loan guarantee programs? One program is up to 80% or $5 million. One program is 50%, and that one goes up to $2.5 million. There's loans out there for clean energy, guarantees out there for clean energy. There's guarantees out there for almost every type of business you have. So remember that one, SSBCI.
Thank you very much. And let me just say that if he gets the money, he puts it out there. But if he doesn't get it, you can't get it. And one of the things that we started to do and we had to cancel because of other things was to have the governor's office and everybody come down to tell us how they distribute that money. Now, in rounding up, 60 billion, that was with the PPP program, 12 billion in capital investments and grants that's deployed to CDFIs and MDIs. When we talk about MDIs, we're talking about minority banking institutions, estimated to boost lending by $130 billion to underserved communities over the next decade. So, $10 billion in state small business credit initiative, known as the SSBC, Treasury deploys funds to state agencies, including more than $1 billion to California, which partners with financial institutions, including CDFIs, to offer a variety of small business loans and equity investments. This program is expected to support tens of billions of new small business financing over the next decade. Oh, Ron, come over here for a minute, if you don't mind. Hi, Ron. How you doing? This is a surprise, I know. I was telling him how I met you, and I'm telling him now you've gone from the point of meeting Ellis to where you are, and we're going to have an announcement and all of that. Just a minute or two. I told him you had been involved with the credit union, the Naval Credit Union, the one that we found discriminating. We told them about them repossessing your car. We told them about you not having the resources to get the inventory. But I also told them something I don't know if they heard. You know a lot of creative people in the community. He knows a lot of creative people in the community. They present everything from t-shirts and sweatshirts and clothing, what have you, in their garages, in their houses. And guess what? We need to know how to connect them to the system, how to make sure that when you get those inventory, those supplies from them, that you're making money and they're making money.
I'm on the spot. I just want to thank Maxine Waters. You know, she put me in a great position to excel in my business. I started from nothing, just a dollar and a dream, you know, and a vision, and I'm excelling, and we're still going. This is just the beginning, and I look forward to keep going, you know. Anything else?
Okay, Ron, when is our press conference?
Yes, they just provided me with a $50,000 loan. Yeah. It also opened my mind up to see how business really works. You know, I've just been going on my own funds, on my own money. I never been funded by a bank. I never had a government grant or no PPP loans or anything. So we just started from basically from the ground up. Every piece of profit I got, I put back in my business. So I've never really seen money, because anything I get, I reinvest into my own company and my own business. So yeah, we're just moving and working, and just keep working and staying consistent is basically the key to what I've been doing. Yeah.
Real quick. This gentleman went to a bank and they said to him, if you deposit $3,000, we'll give you a $3,000 credit card. That is some BS, I'm telling you right now. Where is Lo from my team? Lo. There's Lo right here. See him after. He'll connect you with Macedonia Community Development Corporation. Raise your hand, Lo. L-O-W, Lo.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I didn't know when I went to you, I thought you were going to give him a little $5,000. You gave him $50,000? Give him a big round of applause. You gave him a big $5,000, but you can do something with it.
When I met you, I think you seen us like remodeling and everything, and you asked me, well, you didn't get funded by a bank or anything? I'm like, nah, I've been doing this out of my pocket through my, just through the money I'm making, spending my own money. And you like, no, I said no, but the bank just like finessed me out of like $17,000. So I really just like took a loss. And you like, no, we're gonna give you that $17,000 back. Then you like took 2 steps, you turn around like, no, you need 50. And that 50 came and we're working, yeah. I wanna thank you for that.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, those of you in the audience, you're at different places in your life with your businesses. You're at different places with understanding how to contract with the government. I want you to know that we have done a poor job in educating. You just don't know the money that we put out and who's getting it and why it's not coming to our communities. And let me tell you, with this room full like you are, it's time to kick ass, I'm telling you. It is time to get some ass kicking. Now, here's what. When these small business days so-called come that they organize, I want all of you all to come. And what we're going to do is, and I haven't told him all of this, but he's a good guy, he's so cooperative. What I want all the city of eyes. Oh, we're gonna bring the banks too. We want to set up a day or 2 days worth of learning so that people who are ready to ask for money, they have their people all around the room lined up. So you can go in this day or 2 that I'm gonna put together with your proposals, with your requests, and we're going to have you sit down with those who are supposed to be making the loan and make an application. Go through it. And then let us know, after we check with you, who got funded and who didn't get funded and why. We're in a banking desert, and we can't expect Ministry to do it all. He's but one. He's doing everything more in this region of the country than any place else in the country. But what you're going to do is you're going to show up, just like you're showing up today. You show up today and you get fed and you feel good. I don't need real food. I mean knowledge and information. You go away feeling good, but you don't do enough. And so we want you to get ready, and we're going to set up an opportunity where people are going to come in from the banks, from the CDFIs, and you're going to be standing in line until you make an application. And don't come here expecting you're going to be the first person. I want to tell you, when we worked on apartheid in South Africa, I want you to know that we only won because people were willing to stand in the rain for days in order to get Nelson Mandela, the president of South Africa. They stood in line, they waited. And so we have to be patient, but we're going to do this. I thank you all for coming out today, and I want you to know this is not a script that my staff wrote for me. They didn't tell me to say anything about ass kicking and all of that.